Gaffer, game number 3 out of the way, how would you assess today's performance?
No, listen, a really good exercise. I thought both teams were going at it. It was a very end-to-end game, very open game. I know East Kilbride play some really good stuff, but I thought at times today we were very good in terms of on the ball. We can do better with the both goals. First one's a poor goal for a throw-in. We don't deal with it, running in behind, good cutback, first time finish. Second goal, second half, poor as well from our point of view, so we need to look at it. But overall the exercise was to get minutes in the legs, and we certainly got that. Some players getting 90, some players getting 70. So we had to crank it up with the League Cup starting a week on Saturday. So we're getting to where we want to get to. We've got one more game to go, Tuesday in a closed door game against the Premiership opposition, which will be a good test for everyone. So yeah, we're looking forward to that as well. Yeah,
you mentioned the goals conceded, but how pleased were you with the reaction following those to get back into the game?
Yeah, it's always good to show a reaction. But what I look at is how we concede them, and it's not good viewing. We have to be better, and it's just 4 or 5 yards of movement, 4 or 5 yards to close down, and we don't do that. But listen, we could have more goals. East Kilbride could have more goals. It was a very good, entertaining game. Two teams want to pass the ball. And I'm asking players to be braver this year. I'm asking players to take ball in difficult areas. And we'll get better with that. It's only, like I say, 15, 16 days into the pre-season. It'll come, we'll get better. But we certainly need some more bodies in the building. I need players that are at the standard we had last season or better. And at the moment we're very thin. We're carrying injuries as well, which isn't helping. And we have to be careful of that coming up to Saturday away at Peterhead. I need to try and get in 1 or 2 this week. If we can do that, I'm not so sure, but I'm not just going to sign players for the sake of signing to make a squad. I'm not going to do that. I've been in this position a couple of times in the years I've been here, so I'm okay with that. I believe in my own ability, and I'll wait my time to get the right players that I need to fill the positions that I'm looking to fill.
Yeah, in terms of the first game of competitive action coming up next Saturday, though, a lot of positive signs ahead of that.
Well, there is positive signs. We've scored goals in pre-season this year. We've made a lot of opportunities, we're just not taking them. Jordan had another one today, one-on-one, doesn't take it, so we need to really try and get him putting the ball in the net to get that feeling again. He's maybe just a little bit low in confidence, but hopefully that'll come for a kid. And there was good movements, good patterns, good rotations. Great finish from off, good finish for Ryan. The one time we actually put on a decent press, we get everybody going in the right direction, everybody doing the things that we've been asking, and no coincidence from that. You go and pick up the ball, final third, couple of passes, balls in the net. So we need to be more doing that. We need to work more on that in the training field. But listen, I've been pleased with the 3 games. But the only thing I'm disappointed with is the squad size. I need to get in players that understand that. But the nucleus of the group is done very well over pre-season.
Yeah, and you mentioned the nucleus there. Of course, that's been the majority of the starting 11 for all 3 games. Is that potentially, are you looking at that as being your strongest 11 so far, or are you looking to try and change that up a bit?
Well, there's obviously 1 or 2 trialists playing within that 11. I'll make a decision over the next couple of days of what I'm doing. But yeah, the group at the moment, the 8 or 9 that have started games will be the nucleus of the starting 11. And then hopefully by the time we get through the League Cup, then we've got a really good core of players that will jump into the League Cup, out of the League Cup into the league and take us forward in the league.